Hey, Jim Roman here, and welcome to another episode of the Jim Roman Show, where we talk about how to build a better business so you can live a better life. Today, I'm doing something crazy and different. I'm going live straight on Facebook. So I don't know who's going to be watching this episode now or after, but if you do, I want to welcome you to. This is your first time to our episode. This is a topic that I talk about. This is a thing I do for 10 to 20 minutes. Now that we're live, there's no editing this, so we're good to go. So I want to welcome to you another episode of the Jim Roman Show. We're a part of a 4-part series. We're finishing up the series of our live talks where we're talking about how to remove the roadblocks to growth. In a moment, I'll recap some of the things we've been covering and then get into today's topic, which I think you're really going to like, because it is ultimately the secret to our success with our clients. I'm going to give you the secret right here, right now, live. So if you jump in at any time, please feel free to comment below, ask questions, message me, text me, anything we could do to serve you, again, to ultimately build a better business, to build a better life. So if you're watching this now, I can't see your comments because I'm looking at the camera. So please forgive me when you do that. I'll be seeing the pop-ups as those come along. But again, welcome to another episode of this 4-part series. So let's jump into it. So we've been talking about removing the roadblocks to growth. In episode 1 of this series, we talked about how when growing a business, whether you're an existing business or a new business, that you have things that you have to do to remove those roadblocks: mental roadblocks, financial roadblocks, and organizational roadblocks. Or we were talking about mental, financial, and physical. We talked about in the beginning stages of a business, a lot of times your mental capacity is usually on a high when you're starting a business, but over time, the mental capacity or the mental challenges that you go through, knowing your purpose and passion, for example, can get the best of you and be a roadblock to your growth. We talked about in that episode, uncovering and discovering your why. Why do you do what you do? We talked about the financial roadblocks to growing a business, whether it's going to $250,000, $500,000, or $1 million or more. So often you have the ups and downs of finances. In last week's episode, we talked about a construction company where we uncovered and discovered what was getting in the way of them getting to the next level. I highly recommend, if you're in the construction contracting industry and you're having the ups and downs of business, to check out that episode. We go into details on how we were able to help them remove that roadblock to go to the next level. I have some notes here I want to make sure I cover today so that we make the best of this for you, whether you're watching this live or afterwards. We talked about market, method, and math. In other words, picking a market that not only needs your services, but wants and willing to pay for those services. So often we get into business, we'll help anybody. And helping anybody is wonderful and great. But if you go broke in the process, who does that help? Picking a market that you have a purpose and passion for, you have an experience for, that you really truly want to help, makes the biggest difference. It's a difference between a general practitioner doctor and a specialist. Specialists make more money than generalists. One could argue that specialists make a bigger impact. That's up for debate. But because they're specialists, they're in high demand and high needs, they make more money. They can make a bigger impact for themselves as well. We also talked about gaining momentum in your business, managing your people better. It can be a roadblock a lot of times. So again, I'm going to encourage you to go back to those previous episodes. I don't want to have to repeat all that. I mean, I would love to repeat all that, but if you've been following along, I don't want to bore you. I just want to excite you, because today's topic of removing the roadblocks to growth, I will be sharing with you the one secret to our clients' success, that we've helped companies go from micro to millions while having a life. In other words, what could you do to start to feel more excited, have purpose and passion in your profession, to push through the next roadblock that you're going to face? I believe this one thing is the key thing to doing that. So again, welcome if you're joining the episode here live on Facebook. I can't see your comments below because I'm looking at the camera, so please forgive me. I just went live on Facebook versus live on my speaker page. So if you would just give me a little grace, I think you're going to like this episode. So what is the one thing that we figured out that removed most of the roadblocks to growth? That one thing is we asked our clients a question. That question was, if you had enough time and money to do what you wanted to do for fun or to have a life, what would that one thing be? Another way of asking that question to trigger a different way of thinking and or processing an answer, I would say if you had $2 to $10 million in the bank, time, money, family were not a roadblock, what would you do for fun beyond the business? Number one answer, I don't know. Let me say that again. The number one answer to the question, if you had all the time and money, family, education, nothing was in your way, what would you do for fun? Number one answer, I don't know. Do you know how much that hurts my heart to hear I don't know? That tells me that person stopped dreaming somewhere along the journey of building their business. And that, my friends, is where we start by removing the roadblocks to growth. Is figuring out what you want to do beyond the business. What do you want to do for fun? What difference do you want to make? If you get the answer to that question and you come up with that, I promise you, you'll push through most roadblocks. Most roadblocks will get out of your way. In fact, I want to share 3 examples of that very exact thing that we work with people. I've talked about these people before. I think it's worth repeating. So if you're here listening to me today, I would ask you the same question. If you had all the time and money, education, your kids, your family, your spouse, whatever, it was not an obstacle, and you could do whatever you wanted to do beyond the business, what would you do for fun? Comment below. Please put down what you would do for fun if you had time, money, things to do. The second answer that people typically get once they get past I don't know is travel. And when I would ask them where they would want to travel to, the number one answer is anywhere. But I believe being specific is going to make a bigger difference. Being specific makes it terrific, I like to say. So I would ask people where, they would say anywhere sunny. I would say where specifically, beach, what beach, any beach. And then when I would be really diligent in getting the answer, I could see people say Destin Beach, Florida. And the moment they said Destin Beach, Florida, they light up. They start to smile. They get all excited. And I'm like, oh my God, this is it. We're starting to tap into it. I believe that if we can start to dream again, have those aspirations again beyond our circumstances. And by the way, a lot of you have some tough challenges right now. I know, I'm praying for you every day. I'm truly praying for you every day that you get through the challenges that you're facing right now. But I believe that the other side of this, if you start to dream again and start to work towards those dreams, which I'll talk about today as well in this special episode, I believe you'll remove those roadblocks a lot quicker than you would if you just went through your day-to-day grinding, grind it. So let me give you some examples. I'll use myself as give me some examples of people that we've done this with to include myself. So some of my dreams and aspirations have been over the years is to travel, like most people, and to go to Italy. I would love go to Italy. In fact, I should have went to Italy sooner than this, and I regret that. When my mom passed away of cancer years ago, in 2012, I was talking to her financial planner who also almost died, but he was actually cured. He actually took a treatment overseas that cured him from that cancer that my mom did not have the privilege of taking. And I asked her financial planner, if there was one bit of advice that you would give me and my brothers in this situation, what would it be? He says, do that one thing you've always wanted to do now. I'm getting emotional because I haven't done that one thing. So I'll be doing that later this year. That I promise. I'm going to Italy. Damn it. Sorry about that. He says, do that one thing. Do that one thing. Whatever it costs, do it and do it now. And I pondered that for years. I teach programs on life goals and goal setting. And so I started thinking about how can I start living that life now, enjoying that life now. And I started thinking about, well, I love wine, I love food. Why don't I have friends over my house? And that's exactly what I did. After teaching a life goal seminar, by the way, we have one coming up in June. You might want to find out about that, talking about this very subject. I was asked, Jim, what is one of your life goals? And I said, I want to own a vineyard. And they go, why do you want to own a vineyard? I'm like, because I like wine. But why do you want to own the vineyard? Because owning a vineyard is a lot of work. I'm like, oh my God, that is hard. I don't want to own a vineyard. I want to have a house on the vineyard. And they go, why is that? I'm like, because I like wine. When I got to thinking about it, it wasn't about owning a vineyard. It wasn't even having a house on a vineyard. It was what I could do with that experience. And that was having food and wine with friends. And I didn't have to wait to be in Italy, to own a vineyard, to have a house on the vineyard, to do that. And no lie, months later, I had friends over to my house in Brandon in Midlothian, Virginia for wine in my back porch, on my deck, enjoying their friendship over food and wine. It was amazing. That simple little act of bringing friends over for food and wine at my house made me feel like I was in Italy. And it wasn't about being in Italy as much as it was the experience. And ever since, you'll see me jaunt all over the world. You'll see me travel a lot in June, so you'll see me doing more things then. I always take time to enjoy my life, because having a life now is what's going to have you push through the roadblocks tomorrow. So let me ask you, what are you doing to live your life now? Or are you the type of person who's putting it on hold? As you know my story, my dad passed away of a heart attack at age 62. He doesn't have a tomorrow. My mom passed away of cancer in 2012. She doesn't have a tomorrow. Thinking you have a tomorrow sometimes could be the biggest lie you're telling yourself. And I'm not saying stop grinding. I'm not telling you to stop working hard. I am telling you to take time to stop to enjoy life. In fact, you've heard me say in previous episodes that every 90 days, I highly recommend you take time for yourself. That is not my recommendation. These are other experts who are far more successful than I am who make this recommendation. They make it a must every 90 days to do something for themselves. I'm going to say you should too, even if it's just for the day. And let's talk about for the day. So going back to traveling, and I wanted to travel, I said, well, I can't afford to travel. And I'm going to argue we can't afford not to travel. So I decided one day I'm going to take a day to go do something. I lived in Virginia back in the day, and I decided one day I was going to go to the vineyards in Charlottesville, Virginia. And that's what I did. I went to the vineyards of Charlottesville, Virginia, invited some friends. We had an amazing, amazing experiences. The Ramirez's, I have to say, thank you very much for that very, very wonderful time. And I loved it. We then sobered up and then drove back. I think we had a designated driver, if I remember correctly. And that was amazing. It was one day at the vineyards with friends, having food and wine. And again, I didn't have to be in Italy to make that happen. I'm not saying not to go to Italy. I'm just saying you could take bite-sized steps. So those are just some of the things that I've done to live the life that I live and the choices that I'm making to live now versus later, because I have so many people who passed before me that I'm now realizing I just want to have that kind of life. So before I go on to the next examples of other people like you that done this, this is about you today. What do you want to be doing? I would be asking myself, if I had time and money, what would I do for fun? If I was, another way of looking at that, at the end of your life and you're in your deathbed and you're looking back to your past and say, what did you wish you would have done? Not what you regret, that's a whole nother conversation, but what would you have wished you would have done? Spend more time with your family? I got a story about that. Create more memories? I have many stories about that. That is one of the things that's most important to me, is memories is more important than money. I can do a whole topic on that very subject matter. Because again, putting off your life for tomorrow, that tomorrow may never come, but at least take some time. So some other examples that you might want to use for encouragement, inspiring aspects of it is a woman that we were working with years ago. In fact, one of my first success stories, I think I've shared in previous episodes. We were doing our full day, one day life goal seminar, and the instructor, one of my coaches, asked the group, made a comment that said that in a child's eyes, there's no such thing as quality time. And people were like, what? He says, well, let me say that again. In a child's eyes, there's no such thing as quality time. There is just time. And I've said that statement for years. And that has impacted many people's lives. For example, this particular person that I'm talking about now owned a spa. And she was putting her family on hold as she built her business. Are you putting your life on hold to build your business? Are you putting your family on hold to build your business? I say, think about that. So after the workshop, the instructor said to her, do nothing until you talk to Jim on Monday, because I don't want you to make decisions that you will regret based on the way you're reacting and just the way you're thinking right now. So I made it a point to call her first thing Monday morning, because that workshop was Saturday day. And by 8 o'clock, I called her. She says, oh my God, let me tell you what I did. And I'm like, didn't the coach tell you not to do anything? No, listen. I don't know if you know this, but I own 2 houses. I have a 2-story house and a 1-bedroom house. And we live in the 1-bedroom house. And the 2-story house is where our spa is. And I reorganized it so that we can now live in the 2-story house, rent out the 1-story house, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And she was super excited. And I was like, wow, that is amazing. But the best part of the story was weeks later, I was talking to her and she shared something that really hits home to this day. She was home at the school bus stop, waiting for her daughter to get off the school bus. And when her daughter saw her mom at the school bus, she ran up the hill, wrapped her arms around her mom and said, "Mommy, mommy, mommy, I thought you would never, ever pick me up from the school bus." In other words, she reorganized her life to live her life, and it made an impact on her daughter and on her. In fact, a month later, she was at one of our seminars with one of our coaches, and her ex-husband happened to show up and said to her, "You're not the person that I divorced. You look different. You look better. You've changed." And she did. She chose to start living life and not let her business run her. So my question to you is, what are you going to do today, tomorrow, this month, this quarter to start living life? Even if it's just planning it out, dreaming it out, creating a vision board. You know, I highly recommend vision boards. I love vision boards. Vision boards are great to be able to dream again, as well as to keep yourself accountable to the things that you want to be doing. Another example are two people who built houses on the lake. The first person, very similar to the first example, he remembers my story about quality time, and he decided that his kids were growing up and going off to college, and guess what? He didn't want to lose out on the time with them. So they built a house on the lake so they can create the memories before those moments are gone. He shared with me, because of our life goal seminar and because of that quality time and time statement, it hit home for him. And I'm happy to say that they have a happy, healthy family. They've all grown up, and it's amazing to see their posts on Facebook, the life and the joy that they live. And the last example I've shared before as well is a person who had a big business. The business got bought. In the process of losing their father, they realized they put their life on hold and they weren't going to do it anymore. And I suggested to them, and they took the coaching, to do something for themselves. That's what I'm saying to you today, is do something for yourself, even if it's just going to the spa, if it's getting your nails done, getting your hair done, taking a day off, going on a mini vacation, a half-day vacation, one-day vacation, three-day vacation, anything. I promise you, it'll help you remove the roadblocks, rejuvenate you, recharge you, so that you can charge through what's next for you. So as I finish up this live stream, for those of you who may be joining me late, I am not looking at the Facebook comments, so hopefully you're commenting below. I'm looking into my camera to focus in on the content I want to create for you today to make an impact. This series was about removing the roadblocks, whether it's mental roadblocks, financial roadblocks, or organizational roadblocks. I think the biggest thing is your roadblocks to your living your life. I made a commitment to myself years ago that I was not going to put my life on hold anymore. I built several successful businesses, and I took a toll on my life. And I said when that was over that I wasn't going to do that again. Now, do I have all the successes I want now? Heck no. But I do have more memories. I do have more moments, and I do have more joy in my life because of it. I've made so many friends around the world because of it. I always now piggyback my trips. When I go on a business trip, I always add a day before or after to enjoy myself. I'm going to Virginia Beach in June before a conference, and I decided I'm going to piggyback visiting some friends so that I don't just do work, I also play. So in closing, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor, and you may not know me if you've never met me before. I highly recommend you check out our content. Suggest you subscribe and put on those notifications. Is number one, start to dream again. If nothing else, start to dream again. Create a vision board of the things that you want to do, the people you want to spend time with. Do that now. And I promise you, you remove more roadblocks than you can ever imagine. Step two, take a baby step. I want to go to Italy, but I also want to enjoy food and wine with my friends. And so that's what I did. I had wine and food at my house, and it was amazing. I now do bourbon with bros in this house. And I do mini trips and jaunts that mean so much to me. Take those baby steps and then do it. Then actually do that one day, half day, 1 hour, 2 hour thing for yourself. I always say that this is the oxygen of your life. If you don't put the oxygen on yourself, how can you take care of other people with their oxygen, who is everything that you do for them? I love you. I think you guys are amazing. I appreciate you. I just want you to live the life. If we could be of support or help in any way, please feel free to reach out to us, text us, message us. We're here for you. I want to say that this is the final live episode that we'll be doing on weekly Wednesdays at 12 o'clock. I've enjoyed doing these over the last year, and hopefully you've gotten something out of it. We'll continue to do content, don't get me wrong with it, but we're changing it up to make a bigger impact. I'm super excited about the month of June and what we have to share with you, but that doesn't happen unless you let us know what we could cover. What challenges are you facing that we could address in these future content created episodes that I will tell you about in the month of June? In fact, in the month of June, watch out, we'll be talking about living a life goal month. June is life goal month. I don't know if you know this, but 25 years ago in June, I believe was June 13th or June 17th, around that time frame, I went broken bankrupt, as you know, in 93 and 95. And then 96, I turned my life around. It'll be 25 years in June that happened. So I've decided to dedicate the month of June to living life for you all, helping you live a life. If you've got something out of this episode, please let me know. I just want you to build a better business so you can live a better life. Again, I'm Jim Roman. The more you know, the more we all grow. God bless. I love you. Hope to see you soon. Hope to hear from you even sooner. With that being said, have a great day. God bless.